Here's a quick note about transposition. All right, let's go ahead and look at this trumpet part here. Notice that my score right now is in concert pitch. So actually, let's put something really simple in here. I'm just going to put a C major chord in here. Okay, so if I play this, okay, I have a nice standard C major chord. If I put it, and now notice it's in concert pitch. If I take it out of concert pitch, now it's going to have that trumpet looking at something that's in the key of D to compensate for the fact that it's a B-flat trumpet. So when you're editing, notice that when I play that D right there, it sounds the same as the C here because it's dealing with the transposition. So it's taking this note and transposing it just like a trumpet would if a trumpet player played that D. You can actually make all kinds of interesting transpositions here. So let's think about what this means. So the key means that the key of B-flat means that the Noteflight is going to transpose it as if it were a trumpet in B-flat, meaning that whatever the untransposed part is, that's going to be one step higher than the key of C. So, and then also you can transpose an octave. Some instruments transpose extra octaves. For instance, tenor saxophone would be in B-flat, but it would be down an extra octave. Or perhaps a piccolo trumpet would be up an octave, right? So if I go like this, and I have it go up an extra octave, and I write piccolo trumpet, notice what happens now is that this is transposed down an octave because the piccolo trumpet will make it go up an octave. So now when I play this note here, you can hear that it's, okay, it's still up in that higher octave because the piccolo trumpet will sound up an octave. So this is compensating. If I go back to concert pitch, it will put that back exactly where it sounds. When you're composing, I'm going to suggest you put things exactly where they sound and then let the Noteflight do the transposing for you because it can be really easy to go backwards. One more thing, if you add a part, when you're adding a part, there's this thing called score octave. Now a score octave will transpose a part off an octave even if, actually depending on whether or not this is toggled or not, it will disregard that. And the only place that comes into play is with the double bass here. If I add a double bass, the double bass is written in a way that it sounds down an octave from where it looks. So if I have a double bass note here, notice that's actually an octave lower, so that C is right there, but it sounds right here. And when I call it a score octave, it actually will not change even if I go into concert pitch. And that's because it's just kind of a standard thing to have the bass look like it's in this octave. Transposing is not quite as important for bass, so it's kind of a standard thing. There would be tons of ledger lines if you didn't transpose that. All right, one more little detail with the parts is that you can decide to break the bar lines after the part, meaning you can group the instruments. For instance, if you had a string quartet and a piano, you might actually want to have this bar line not be here. So if you go ahead and break that bar line, okay, it's going to separate it out. Notice that at the left, it's still all connected, but here it kind of groups the instruments into things that are a little easier to see. So now my piano is by itself, my bass is off by itself, and then my violin and trumpet are barred together. You can decide how you want to do that to organize your score. One last thing is this place directions above staff. That's pretty standard for vocals. So if you wanted to directions above staff, meaning like forte, crescendo, that kind of thing. So you would have those above the staff with vocal parts just to not interfere with lyrics, as opposed to perhaps an instrumental part where you would want to have those things below the staff in general. All right, so that's how the edit part window works. My suggestion again is to always compose in concert pitch and then boom, let it transpose the part for you. If you have a non-standard transposition, you can always go into this window and kind of mess around with things, but you're going to want to start with one of these sounds. You probably find something that sounds close to what you want to have in your final product. All right, there we go.